Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with some more World of Tanks. And no, this is not an optical illusion. I am actually in a Russian vehicle. This is, of course, the KV-1S, otherwise known as one of the most overpowered tanks of its tier. And I picked it up on the live server recently just because, well, I was close to getting it. I had the KV-1 quite a few months ago, and I got rid of it just because I wasn't enjoying it at all. And ever since 8.6, I've noticed that these things have been pretty powerful. The accuracy changes have done nothing but help it out, because that is the one drawback to it. It's just very inaccurate, horrible aim time and reload time, and that's usually not my style. But with 8.6, I feel that you can land a lot more of your shots at least close to medium ranges. Long range, you know, you have to just get lucky. But for the most part, I tend to do pretty well with this thing. The mobility is pretty good. The armor is fairly bouncy, although I find that most vehicles can pen it, especially when we're playing a game like this one. Just trying to watch out over here. I am playing this live. This is not a replay. We've got a KV-1 at the corner. No eyes on target. Just holding this line because we're pretty weak on this side. The only thing we have is a T1 heavy, and he's already getting lit up. I want to kind of see if I can snag a target over here, but I don't know if that KV-1 is alone. I never like crossing this line because I always get tackled. We are letting their team have it, though, so I want to push in a bit more and put this gun to use, because when it hits, oh boy does it hit. Considering the fact that it does as much damage as some of my tier 8s, if not more. Extremely high alpha, just really bad rate of fire. But when you're doing this much damage, it really doesn't matter. Alright, T1, all you while I reload. That's the only reason I came in on him like this, because I had some backup. Otherwise, my armor isn't fantastical. Gets the job done. His shot is out. Let's see if we can finish him off. On the 6. Bring her about. Use the T1 as cover. No. That's not happening, M4. Where you going, buddy? I like you. We can be friends. IS down in the back. Alright. Are we clear on this end? KV-1S down that way. Gonna roll around and check for extra targets. It's just the firepower on this thing. See, I'm gonna take some time to aim here. It's just, if you got the target, you're gonna pen, and you're gonna put some hurt on that guy. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think maybe the worst thing I've ever run into is a French tank destroyer, and we all know about their frontal armor at times at certain angles. Not easy to get through. But, you know, I was playing this thing last night to test it out, and even at a loss, I'm usually leaving a game with 3 kills. It's just ridiculous, and I now understand why people are playing these Russian tanks with their high alpha damage. I can't get to him. There's just some artillery left. And some people prefer rate of fire. And in some cases I do, like on my M10 Wolverine. I love the rate of fire and the amount of damage it does. But it also has reliable penetration. And some tanks out there that are high tier, where people will switch over to a gun with rate of fire versus pen and damage, it's very situational. in most cases, I play where I have cover. So if you're fighting enemy tanks that have... Really, guys? I'm just going to fire. I didn't even take the time to aim on that one, gentlemen. Most of the time, if you're in a situation where you're dealing with an enemy with cover, they're going to negate your rate of fire. So let's say they're behind a rock. You got some mad rate of fire. Well, you get one shot off to surprise them. They're like, okay, now I know where you're at. They back off. And now the point of you having rate of fire, it doesn't matter. However, if you have a gun with high alpha damage and you slam him, your surprising ambush shot, you slam him for 300-400 damage, that's going to go a lot more towards winning the game versus having that rate of fire. So again, it really depends. Rate of fire is awesome if your target is out in the open. You can track him. Maybe you're flanking. I think high alpha damage wins out when you're talking about ambush, surprise attack, hitting extreme weak spots. So I think it's really dependent, but sometimes that's kind of why I use the 105 on the Centurion Mark 7/1, whereas some people switch over to the 20-pounder Type B. I would rather have the accuracy, penetration, and alpha damage versus the rate of fire because of the way I play. As a sniper, I want to hit for max damage and you know, make that guy wish he didn't come out in the open. So that's kind of why I like the KV-1S, because you can just slam people at all tiers and then take cover and work on getting another shot in later. So here you can see we've got radio hit on Hummel. Well, everything hit on the Hummel. Boy. KV-1 radio track engine. I like looking at the detailed stats now. It's fun. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I feel like this is the tank you go to if you just want to relieve some stress, because again, even at a loss, as long as you get somebody in your crosshairs, it's going to be over. But I'm a little low on credits. I've been buying a lot of new tanks lately, and so I don't have enough money to get myself a large caliber tank gun rammer, which is definitely what this thing needs. Suppose I could pull one off of my other vehicles, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a lot of Russian tanks. I just have the Churchill Premium, which is going to help level up my crew, but they're already getting there anyway. This crew was from the Churchill. I just converted them over, and I've been buying a few other vehicles as well. But you know, let's take a better look at this KV-1S. It's just all about this gun. I mean, look at this thing. It's ridiculous. 390 average damage, 175 penetration. You know, the flaws, rate of fire, accuracy is fracking terrible, and 3.4 aim time. But it's just like I said, I mean, you saw there at close to medium range with 8.6, sometimes you don't even have to finish aiming. It's best if you do, but if you want to snapshot something, it's gonna hit, especially if it's a big tank. You know, the armor, not horrible, but it's not fantastic either. It's pretty bouncy at certain angles. The slopes here, if you can angle yourself properly to deflect a shell, you've got the typical Russian weak spots here, especially here as well. Cupola. Everything on this. I mean, I don't really have trouble penning these things. They're a little lighter. They've got great mobility, 43 kilometers, 600 horsepower. Good ratio there with the tonnage of the tank. But for me, again, I try not to get hit and just find an opportunity to use this gun and let them have it. Obviously only has 26 rounds. I'm not carrying any premium rounds on it. I haven't felt like I've needed them. I should probably at least carry 2 or 3 just to deal with higher tier units that have crazy frontal armor, perhaps, like French tank destroyers. I think I've got everything upgraded except for the radio. Big deal, I'll get that later. Everything else is pretty good on that. I'll probably end up keeping this tank. It's just been a lot of fun. Probably buy some camouflage for it as well. I do enjoy it. I can't lie there. It meets my needs for mobility. It's mobile enough, and then it just has that gun, which is just way too much fun. So let's get into another one, shall we? It is a fairly popular vehicle. I do see a lot of them around usually. And I think people know that in some cases it feels... you know, I don't like calling tanks overpowered. I'm not one of those guys. I don't usually do that. I try to find, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly out of all vehicles. And I typically play tanks that are underdogs and harder to play. It's common knowledge that some of the Russian tanks are just easier to get into and play. Most people that spend most of their time in Russian vehicles have a higher win ratio just because of the survivability. But in some cases, just the fact that this gun does what it does at its tier, you know, it's tough. And I've tried to match it up against other vehicles, and it's just really hard to touch. Generally, other tanks, such as like the M6 on the American side, tend to just have rate of fire with decent penetration. And sometimes that's great, but again, that alpha damage, I don't know, it just seems to win over. And the fact that this thing is as mobile as it is, has a decent amount of hit points and armor, yeah, you could put it close to the overpowered line, I suppose. But really, you know, I don't have trouble taking these things out. It's just, you don't ever want to be in front of it. Do not engage if this thing is looking at you. Don't peekaboo and say, oh, I can get him. No, just stay away from its main gun and you'll be fine. You can pen it pretty much everywhere. Tons of weak spots on the front, and the armor's just not that great on the sides and the rear anyway. But this tiering here, this is pretty much the worst case scenario. So let's see how we can do in this type of matchup. I usually go for the train tracks because, well, most people don't, but I feel that this tank is better suited for this environment here. There's another KV-1S. Generally, there's snipers in the tree lines out there, so I try to stay away from that, at least until they're lit. Kind of want to slow down a little bit just to get this aim time right. Do it, KV-1S. Do it. Be a hero. Come on. Oh, he doesn't want to do it. Oh, I wish he would come out. Come on. He only has 760 hit points, which means he has the first turret, I think. So that's an unupgraded KV-1S, which is not fun at all. There we go. I knew he was going to come out. I found it a real pain to not be upgraded in this vehicle. Pretty much useless, especially if you get to be top tier and everybody's relying on you. Let's see, what are these guys getting hit by? The front targets or anything from the left? T-150, which kind of had a shot on, but I wasn't sure because the silhouette was blinking in and out. In hindsight, maybe I should have took the shot. Low speed. Oh, no, Churchill! Churchill! You son of a gun. Not that he knows that I'm here. It's not his fault, but I would have blasted that guy. Oh, well. Always happens to me. Oh, I'm just creeping. Oh, come on, Churchill. Do it. Ow! Somebody found an opening. I can't. I don't have the aim time, and I want to get out of this shot. Son of a... It's a Pershing, too. Alright, let me switch up over here. Aw, frack me. Well, that's that. That's a worst case scenario game. Just came out in the open there. I guess that the Pershing was probably shooting through that alleyway over there, and I wanted to get out of there, and I probably should have went around the building. Instead, I was trying to... I don't know what I was doing. That was just a big mistake on my part. And I got one-shotted. And we have an AFK Churchill, I think. Swell. Another KV-1S up here. Damn, that was stupid. I hate when I make dumb mistakes like that. I really do. Because I replay it in my mind over and over again. And we were going to win this. I needed to go back through the other building, not go out in the front like an idiot. Stupid Pershing. If it wasn't for that Pershing right there holding me down, I would have maintained my position and fired at that Churchill. But this son of a gun. I don't even remember the last time I got killed by a Pershing, to be honest. I know I got hit by the T-34, but... Let's see who's dealing with him. The Tiger was down there. Yeah, this is... See, I should have went behind that building there. I should have just easily reversed. But that Pershing would have had probably... I mean, he had at least 2 shots on me. I probably would have taken a 3rd hit, but I'd still be alive. Look at it, I came right out into the open because I'm going to try to push forward up there and just get behind that cover, but I didn't pay attention to what was on this side, even though I had my mini-map open. I wasn't really focusing on it. Darn it. Oh, thanks for joining us, Churchill. A little late to the party. Should report that guy. Some of these people that join these games and they make these excuses up about how I mean, because let's face it, you hit the battle button and you queue up within seconds and you're in a game. How do these people make up these excuses about, oh, I had to go to the bathroom? Well, why did you hit the battle button? You know? Just unbelievable the things that people will come up with. But yeah, that was an epically terrible game, but it was completely my fault. I just drove out into the open like an idiot because that Pershing had me pinned. So good job to him for just getting the best of me. I mean, as you can see, like I was saying, I don't like to call tanks overpowered because usually I know how to find the weaknesses. And the true weakness to this vehicle is its armor is not fantastic. Again, at certain angles, it can be bouncy, but really, it's just not hard to pen it, even from the front at all. I mean, there's tons of weak spots, and at that tier especially, you're easily taken down. I'm going to, of course, jump into another one, but, oh no, not this map. See, this would be my nightmare for this tank. I just don't feel that the accuracy is going to be fantastic for this type of match. But we'll see what we can do. Got some togs about. I did also pick up an Excelsior British premium tank. I thought that I wouldn't, but I wanted to because I wanted a British premium heavy to help train my crew and whatnot. And there's something about it that's kind of charming. I do have fun with it. The gun is just the rough part about it. I mean, I feel that I have to end up switching to premium ammo half the time to take anything out, and it's kind of difficult to deal with. But well, there's this map where I usually snipe. There's one piece of artillery. I'm gonna see what I can do from here for now before I decide to push, and I'm gonna miss him because he lit way too late. He's not gonna come back out. He's just trying to spot everybody now. You, however, there's that aim time. Aww, ding, went right to the turret. That's a T-150 though. I think he has a lot better armor. Hide while we reload. I don't know if he's going to be dumb enough to pop out again. Come on, pull a SideStrafe and drive out into the open. There we go. Look how my crewman can't even finish his sentence. He died so fast. That's not bad accuracy for that range. That's not bad at all. Oh, I hope... No, he must have been aiming for that guy. That guy's just asking for it, hopefully. I don't want to get nuked at all. Keep an eye on that fire extinguisher, just in case. Oh, and speaking about fire extinguishers... Oh, nuts. Aim time. Speaking about fire extinguishers, you people need to carry them because I'm tired of seeing people get burned to death. A lot of people don't use them. I mean, sometimes people replace it with another piece of equipment, and I understand why you do it, but I see a lot of people just get burnt. And I don't know, man. I don't think that I could ever replace my extinguisher. I mean, it depends on certain tanks. I mean, obviously some catch fire more than others. You might think that you have a vehicle that just never catches fire, and that's fine. Okay, if you've played 100 games and the thing's never caught fire, all right. But learn the strengths and weaknesses of your tanks. For example, there are some German tanks which always catch fire, even from getting hit at the front. So you need to have an extinguisher, and it's just going to save your life. So we've already gotten some decent hits out. And as you can see there, that's an example of what I was talking about, having alpha versus rate of fire on that KV-1S. He rolled up, I hit him and slammed him, devastating his tank, to the point where now he is crippled for the rest of the battle. Whereas if I had a gun that did high rate of fire, you know, maybe I would have had one shot off before he got to cover. Maybe I could have gotten a second shot off depending on the rate of fire. At this tier, I don't know if there's something that would have done a decent amount of damage with a good rate of fire. So it's hard to tell. But that's a situation where in that shot, I would rather have this alpha. We are not doing so hot on the other flank, I don't think. They need to just pull back. Whether somebody's going to want to come from my 12 o'clock, I'm not sure. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, we see where this match is going. Commence operation, take people with you. That's all you can do now. It's going to be this kind of game. Okay, wait for him right about there. Yeah, this thing is beasting people at that range. It's not bad at all. It's a little better than I thought. We're really severely weakening some of their tanks, but oh my goodness, guys. Now we're done on the other flank. Ah, boy. You just have to be stubborn and push that hill. I mean, there's a time and a place to do it. When we are outnumbered on that side, you just got to sit back and let them come over the hill. Scout them, pull back. Let them come to you, then take them out slowly. They're going to think they have the advantage. Well, I'm sitting here. I'm going to camp. I am going to camp. Oh, here we go. Blame the KV-1S for sniping. Yeah, go check the damage and see what's going on, Chief. Check the damage at the end of the game and you can tell me who did better. I died last match because it was my fault. I didn't take the time to blame my team for it. There is a time and a place to blame your team, and the last match definitely was not it. In this case, you guys pushed. I'm gonna get flanked, but since the majority of them are coming from this route. Let's see here. IS. I haven't really dealt with an IS in this gun, so... Oh, that's not good. Came right off of the angle. They're going to press me hard here. Now this is where reload time hurts. I've got really a whole lot of nothing here. Hello! Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do there. Should have fired at the IS. I should have prioritized him. I'm curious about the damage. Let's see the damage. Do it, M44. You can win this for us, even though you've already killed one of our guys. You've got this. Look, he's got a little window and everything. It's like, oh hey. All right, so let's check this out. Let's see what I did. All right, let's see if this guy knows what he's talking about. All right, so here's the targets we've got. T150. Let's take a look. Oh, how shocking. Oh, let's see. 1,669 points of damage, only beaten by the artillery, barely. Yeah, if it wasn't for the KV-1S sniping, yeah. Okay. Yeah, if it wasn't for the guy playing smart, taking targets out at range, because, oh, you know, man-created tanks with guns on them to engage targets at range. People think that, oh, you have a heavy tank. Why don't you go up there and give him a kiss? You know, that's what you're supposed to do with your heavy tank. You're supposed to drive right up to the tank and make out with it. No, you have a gun for a reason. It shoots things at long distance. Big surprise. I already knew in that game the second I saw that guy whining that I was besting him. Yeah, I hope these people look at the stats and see, oh, wait, you know, I was complaining about that guy, but he actually did way better than me. Typical, 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 typical. It never changes. You're always going to want to blame your team, and there's a time and a place. In that situation, yeah. Can I blame my team? Of course I can, because they just rushed into their demise. But, like the match before that, no. My death, my fault. I ran out into the open. I'm not going to blame anybody for that. So, you really got to grow up and learn, you know, to take responsibility for your own actions. That's not just in World of Tanks. That's a real life lesson. But, you know, again, I think that I've shown the pros of this vehicle. The only cons, the armor's not normal Russian armor. It's not the best for a Russian heavy. I think if you want typical heavy Russian armor, you got to go with the T150. No. Wait, that's 90. Yeah, that's better. No. Well, it's better hull armor, 90 versus 75. And I think it depends. There's one line that they consider the true, like, Russian heavy line, or a true heavy tank, but I don't know. This thing meets my needs, and I can buy a radio. So I'm gonna do that. Well, yeah, why not? Since this thing is a keeper, who cares? But I enjoy the mobility of it. It can accelerate pretty quickly, and just that gun is a lot of fun. And as we saw in the last match, it's pretty accurate at range, especially with the 8.6 changes. So, yeah, fun. Who'd have thunk it? SideStrafe in a Russian tank. So I'll definitely be looking at this a lot more, having fun with it. Do I feel like I'll get into any of the other? I don't know. I'm not so sure. We'll see what happens. Whatever. If anything, it'll be a natural progression. I won't use any free XP for anything. I used a little bit just to get to this because I already had quite a bit on the KV-1. So there's that. I do have some other tanks that people might be interested in seeing. I did pick up the... I picked up the Excelsior, British Premium. Heavy, and I'll talk more about that later in its own video. But it's okay. It's pretty good all around except for the gun, which is kind of a major thing. It makes you kind of want to use premium a lot, and I think that's the point of it. Sometimes wargaming is a little bad about doing that, so we'll see. I don't know. Kind of hit or miss about it, but otherwise I don't regret my purchase because it helps train my crews. Obviously, I have the Conqueror, and I've got the AT-8. I'm up to the AT-8 in terms of British tank destroyers, which I'm actually really enjoying this beast. And I'm surprised that I am, but I really am. This thing is a lot of fun. Most people don't really like the AT-8. They like the AT-7 and the AT-15. But I don't know. I've been having some good times with this. My ratio with it's not bad. And I think, what else? Pretty sure that's about it. Yeah. Still working with my Leopard. I haven't really touched anything else. Also working on American tank destroyers back into the T-25/2. Working on my way up to the T-28 prototype, which I'm not really looking forward to. So that is my current garage report. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this look at the KV-1S. Not necessarily the best battles on the planet, but I think as an individual, I shined in 2 of the matches out of 3. And I'm pretty happy with my overall performance. So good times all around. So with that said, thank you so very much for joining me. I will see you on the next one.